there. Welcome to Building High Capacity IEP Teams. This is actually a re-recording of Building High Capacity Teams from Lincoln Intermediate Unit Summer Institute. Again, if you are choosing to watch the recording, just want to thank you, and we'll go through the slides together. My name is Phyllis Brown. I am a staff developer and the positivity strategist here at the Lincoln Intermediate Unit. I focus my time, talent, and energy and my passion around culture and climate building. I am presently a certified PBIS and Appreciative Inquiry Facilitator, as well as an Appreciative Leadership Coach. And as of June, I've been licensed as a Restorative Practices Trainer. I utilize my servant heart to support administrators, individuals, teams, classrooms, schools, and districts to bring out the best in themselves and the best in each other. I believe the Lord laid it on my heart decades ago to be a positive agent of change, and feeling so blessed to have the opportunity to be together, raising the praise for teams. Thank you. Melissa's gonna help me with my slides. So we'll go on to the next one. If you were here in person, we had norms. So these were all the Zoom webinar meeting norms. So we'll just kind of go through all those. Thank you so much. We'll go on to the next one. And this was for Act 48 credits. Folks needed to do an evaluation. Here we go. Here's our outcome. So this is our end in mind. So my pop would always say, leave things better than you found them. So I do have a ritual of prayers that I say before I'm in front of people. And I just really ask God to help me leave people better than I found them. So if you're listening to this, I hope I leave you better than I found you today. We're going to appreciate what's working when teams are at their best. We're going to foster some understanding of why teams work. And then we're going to look at ways that you can feed your team's capacity to grow. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next slide. Awesome. So I asked folks to share a silver lining. So I just invite you to think about, again, this idea of what we choose to focus on is where our energy goes. So when you're thinking about your team, what are some relational rituals that you could put into place? What's a way you could check in with your team as you circle up? What is a ritual you could have as you check out? Some optimistic ending to the team, because how we begin and end things in life is so important. So that you're looking at a slide that speaks to Lencioni's work, building teams of high capacity. This is his Lencioni's Healthy Advantage in 6. And he is the guru who wrote the dysfunctions of a team. And I prefer to look at what's working. So know that questions are faithful acts, right? So we grow in the direction we most frequently ask questions about. So I'd invite you and your team to really kind of review these questions, right? Around the framework of mission, vision, values, goals. Mission, vision, what's our purpose? Why do we exist, right? Your core values. How are we going to behave with each other? How high am I going to hold the bar for myself? How high are we going to hold it for each other? What's the purpose? What do we do? How will we succeed? What's most important to us right now? Our goal setting, and who must do what. Thank you. So we'll move on. There we go. So this is Tuckman's Stages of Group Development. And this is genius. So again, every team will travel through these stages of group development. So, and as you see, it's really not, it's not step by step by step. That's why the arrows are going up and down. So this idea of forming, when we add or subtract anyone, we're going to start all over again. How can I learn more about myself? How can we learn more about each other? The norming, this is your core team values. The storming piece, how are we going to learn to give and receive feedback to each other in a healthy way? We don't grow when people agree with us. We only grow when people disagree with us. So the storming, for every winter, there's a spring. the performing piece, the adjoining piece. This builds trust with each other. Thank you. So this is Covey's work. Seek first to understand, then be understood. And sometimes people just need a good listening to, right? We have 2 ears and 1 mouth. We're supposed to listen twice as much as we talk. So what kind of good things can we do with that? One suggestion I have is this work with people patterns. So many of you are familiar with Myers-Briggs, which is a personality profile. The good work that Kiersey and Montgomery have done is they actually looked at personality, but we know that really morphs over your lifetime. The other research that they did was around temperament. If we move on to the next slide. Thanks, Melissa. Here is the people patterns, Montgomery sorter. This is your answer form. There are some handouts at the end of the slide deck that will help support you to take a look at those people profile types. And as you get your 4-letter people pattern, I'd invite you to really look at that, reflect on it. What do you value about your ideal, your best self that you bring to the team? And knowing that the behavior we pay attention to, even on ourselves, is the one that's going to grow. And how can, through this activity, how can you learn more about each other? So definitely suggest that groups do some kind of forming activity that helps you learn more about you and each other. So we'll move on to the next slide. So this is an appreciative inquiry activity, appreciative interview. So AI is a positive change process model, and highly recommend that your group does this appreciative interview activity. And you're really thinking about a time when you were part of a vital, healthy IEP team, right? It's a cohort of learners and leaders. You found the challenge of being a member, satisfying and successful experience. So what I'd invite you to do is to kind of think, pair, share, that you would do this with another one of your team members. So you're thinking about your story and you play that experience out in your head and at your heart, and you share that, and you're looking for themes. You're looking for themes from your story. Go on to the next slide, please, Melissa. Thank you. So again, you're thinking about that time, you're describing the multiple roles and expectation that members take on in shaping a healthy, harmonious, and effective IEP team. So as you're thinking about that, you're jotting down the themes from your story. And then we're going to go on to the next slide. And you'd actually share those themes out because you're looking for your values, right? So if one of your themes from your story was communication, that's how we were harmonious, right? That's how high we held the bar during that successful experience you had. Communication was key to the team's success. So your team is going to establish 3 to 5 core team values. How high am I going to hold the bar for myself? How high are we going to hold it for each other? And you're going to look at what helped you be the most successful on that healthy IEP team that you were on, and you're going to establish your core values. Then you're going to operationalize them. If we say communication is one of our core team values, if we're being the best communicators we can be, what does that look like, sound like, and feel like? You're actually going to write all that down so it's something that you and your team can really commit to, and you can go back to that, those values each time you come back together. Your mission, your vision, your values. Thank you, Melissa. So talking a little bit more about harmonious and effective IEP teams. So clearly defined roles, right? So members of this effective team, they must depend on one another and support each other for that common goal. Your common goal, the child's educational needs. Keep your eye on the prize. Formal roles are things like special education teacher, your gen ed teacher, speech and language, your specialists, phys ed, nurse, psychologists, administrators, any professional providing specific service to the student. So that could also be your agency folks, right? Your parents are your experts, right? They have a formal role on the team. Again, the informal roles, those differing perspectives, the people pattern really helps you value what each other's strengths are that they bring to the team. Again, the goal, holistic view of the child, of the student. Social support. So social supports refer to people who share, listen, and offer understanding, compassion, and encouragement. This enhances relationships between parents and professionals. Educators must initiate and provide this support. Let's look at proximity. Proximity refers to the idea that the closer people are to each other, the more likely they will develop a bond. Help parents become part of the team. What kinds of things have you already done to support connectedness with parents and families? For my experiences, home visits have really added heaps of value before the IEP team meeting. Asking parents, what is the best way to contact you? Those positive phone calls are so important. And so what have you done to support communication? Let's look at distinctiveness. So distinctiveness refers to a sense of oneness or unity. Effective IEP teams demonstrate this through a clear commitment to the common purpose. Everyone at the meeting should be prepared and focused on this child and his or her family. For example, at the beginning of the meeting, the group could collectively answer the questions: who is Melissa? What are her strengths and gifts? Each person gives a brief description. List them on a whiteboard for the team. This way you can review them when you're determining your intervention strategies. In my experience, sharing positive teaching moments that teachers have had with the child and that common vision for the students. Once we knew there was an opportunity for us to develop more of an alliance with the family. I knew the dad wanted one of the school t-shirts. At the end of the meeting, we gave t-shirts to the mom and dad. So let's look at fairness. Fairness. One way to ensure fairness on a team is through building trust. Trust can be enhanced by communicating that all people are respected and valued. Everyone is committed to really trying to create the best possible educational plan. Fairness and equity. Purpose is to do the utmost best for the child. Value and respect parental requests for services. So let's look at similarity. So the more people have in common, the more they tend to feel that connectedness. So they must share similar attitudes, aspirations, and goals for the student. Common denominator for the IEP is the team's concern for a particular child. In my experiences, the team developed a shared vision for the child and shared my perspective. I would have many occasions where I had an opportunity to share my perspective as a parent as well. So let's look at effective communication, respect and valuing for varying perspectives. For an IEP team to meet its goal to provide the best possible programming for a student with a disability, the individuals within that team must communicate effectively. So again, types of communication: written, verbal, nonverbal. What kinds of things have you done to enhance communication, to build high-functioning, harmonious, effective IEP teams? Again, I shared the opportunity that I've had to go into families' homes, to be able to discuss their goals for their child, to be able to write down questions before the meeting, I've tried to reduce the number of people at the meeting, and then really try to deal with any difficult issues or concerns before the meeting. Be aware of nonverbal communication, right? So much of our communication happens nonverbally. So we want to be sure that, that we're putting our best foot forward that way. So thank you so much. So we're moving on to the next slide. So again, members of effective teams, they must depend on one another and support each other for that common goal. The child's educational needs. This is interdependence. We want to value the strengths that everyone brings to the process. Thank you. I love this author, Susan Scott. She speaks to fierce conversations. This is her newest book. She's also written Fierce Leadership, Fierce Accountability. And when we talk about conversations with integrity, so when she talks about fierce, she isn't talking about aggressive. It's all about being able to have a conversation with integrity. And how do we know that's happening? So here's 4 key points that you definitely want to, as you're looking at that lens of being able to host fierce conversations, we want to be able to interrogate the reality, look at reality from other people's point of view. Remember, seek first to understand, then be understood. We want to provoke learning, be open to hearing what other people have to say. Paraphrasing is a good way that people know that you're actually listening to them. We have to have a willingness to tackle the tough challenges. You know, find a way to say sometimes what cannot be said. Say what you mean what you say, don't be mean when you say it. And really, the real goal of a fierce conversation is all about enriching relationships. We want to go deeper into the relationship. Thank you, Melissa. We'll go on to the next slide. So many of you are familiar with Covey's work, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. So definitely took a look at that good work and connected it to the 7 habits of highly effective teams. So when we look at being proactive, we're taking initiative, right? So this doesn't mean being pushy, obnoxious, or aggressive. It does mean recognizing our responsibility to make things happen. Proactive goals and objectives are based on the premise that the entire team is responsible for making things happen. So beginning with the end in mind. So based on imagination, this is the ability to envision, to see the potential, to create the most positive of possibilities. If this student's success and achievement was completely guaranteed, what questions would we be asking? Put first things first, my friends. What is urgent or most important in the coming year that needs to be addressed on the IEP? What's most important for this student, for this child right now? Create a clear, mutual understanding of what needs to be accomplished, focusing on what, not how. You want to be results driven, not methods. Spend time, be patient, visualize the desired result. So much power in envisioning a positive future. Think win-win. Consensus building is a key element of effective collaborative IEP meetings. Be specific in stating the desired results of the objectives, the guidelines for achievement, and how accountability will be determined, and when to decide if the goal or the objective is not appropriate. Win-win means that agreements or solutions are mutually beneficial and satisfying. Again, here, if it's important, it comes up again, my friends. Seek first to understand, then be understood. In a truly collaborative IEP process, educators will listen to and understand parents. Parents will listen to and understand educators. All team members will realize the importance of listening to and understanding the student. Student voice is crucial. The desired outcome is not for everyone to always agree, but to understand each team member's viewpoint. The power of this type of listening is that it gives the team accurate data with which to work. So again, in my experience, the final IEP document must be written in a language that everyone working with the student can understand. Please avoid jargon. Please avoid our educational community's alphabet soups. Let's look at synergize, one of my favorite words, synergy. So this is a creative cooperation that occurs at each step of the development process. It's teamwork, it's team building, the development of unity and creativity with other human beings. All participants strive to work together, realizing it takes a village to educate students. The quality of the pre-planning for an IEP is of equal value to the official meeting. Sharpening the saw. The importance of renewal. Continuous improvement. Let's firecracker that. Continuous improvement. Celebrations of success. Recognize achievements and progress. They energize us to keep on this collaborative journey with the student and their families. In my experience, take some time to have a snack. I would always have my basket of goodies. Share some stories, funny and serious. Offer words of appreciation. Acknowledge gifts and talents of all team members. Renew the commitment to the journey. Thank you very much. All that was a mouthful. I appreciate you guys hanging in there. So we'll move on to our last slide. So again, I would invite you to think about what opportunities do you see to use this, right? What takeaways do you have? How might this presentation change your practice or your process? My contact information is at the beginning of this Google slide deck. And again, invite you, suppose you could have 3 wishes granted that would enable your IEP teams to perform at their highest capacity. What are your wishes, your hopes, your dreams? So feel free to reach out. I'd invite you to stay in faith, stay safe, and be well, my friends. Grace, mercy, peace, and love. Peace out. Thank you very much.